There are a lot of problems in our world. I know what they are. I'm made very aware of them all the time. All over social media, in the weather reports, in advertising. The world is apparently going to shit. There are plenty of reasons to believe we're completely screwed. We're on a trajectory to climate disaster, repeated pandemics, increasing equality and ecological breakdown. But one issue that I have with a lot of the current media is that it is very problem focused. A report about the state of the climate will usually focus little on the solutions that everyday people can be a part of. A post on social media about war or violence doesn't normally dig into the root cause all the way out. The root causes and the mishmash of interconnected problems leaves us with a predicament with no real solutions. If you want to know more about our current situation, I have a video on that linked in the description. But just because there's nothing we can do as individuals and communities to reverse climate change and completely stop ecological overshoot, it doesn't mean there's nothing we can do to make things better. Lots of people talk about only problems. Some people love to have a whinge. I see that on Facebook regularly. Just whinging without substance or any thought to how they themselves can make things better. After I read an article or hear someone talking about a particular problem, if I don't hear any discussion about potential solutions and actions, at this point, I feel a bit let down. Keep in mind that, as Daniel Schmachtenberger says, a problem well defined is a problem half solved. I think it can be tempting to rush into action without a full understanding of the problem, and we can end up tackling a symptom of the problem but not the root cause, or we can create new problems with our solution because we haven't thought through the consequences. But at the same time, we can fall into a great pit of despair, as I have done before, because we think there is nothing we can do. But I realise now that's not the case. I like Michael Dowd's way of thinking of things. He passed away a few months ago, but his videos on YouTube have been a massive inspiration for me. He said, collapse is underway, it will get a lot worse, and we as individuals cannot stop that from happening. But once we have accepted that and grieved, what he calls collapse acceptance and post-doom, then we can get on with making our lives and communities better. If we can soften the fall for some people, then it's worthwhile. One thing to note about the world as it currently is that there is no one solution to the problems we're up against. The crises that face our world, climate change, ecological overshoot, nuclear risk, AI risk, mental health problems, all come from the same set of values and behaviours that all of us have within us, and that many humans have used to drive this system. Some people call it the meta crisis, these underlying themes of unending economic growth, disconnection from each other and the natural world and its limits, and the fact that we as a people aspire to have more and more knowledge and intelligence, but are failing to gain wisdom. These issues have been called the global predicament, and a predicament is something that doesn't have a solution, it can't be fixed. But there's still a part of me that, knowing all this, still wants the answers. I want the solution. While accepting the trajectory of our global society, I do want positivity. I want the best possible scenario to be described within the confines of the meta crisis and what we have to do to get there, and then get to work. I want to be inspired. I don't want to feel despair. I feel that now, personally, I am ready for true transformative action because I finally feel like I have an adequately complete understanding of the set of problems, and I can move forward with the harsh truth of the matter in mind. On a worldwide scale, there are a few big things that we would need everyone to do, and that, if undertaken, would fix many of the symptoms of this worldwide predicament. I don't believe this will happen. The chances are slim to none. But I want to put it out there so that if you want to work towards one or more of these goals, you can do so. 1. Remove fossil fuels from everything we possibly can, from electricity to agriculture to transport. This is possibly the biggest task humanity has to face. Ration what is left to only what saves lives and has no alternative, to make the fossil fuels last as long as possible. Also, use some of the fossil fuel rations to safely decommission potentially harmful infrastructure like dams and nuclear power plants. 2. Reduce the human population in a humane and just way. This requires education and empowerment of women and girls, and easy access to birth control and abortion, plus a large cultural shift away from pronatalism. 3. Reduce the personal consumption of goods for most humans, but especially the richest. For example, in Australia, we need to reduce our consumption and energy use by about 90% to be sustainable. 4. Institute a universal basic income worldwide so that everyone can continue to meet their basic financial needs as this transition takes place. 5. Stop all deforestation immediately, plant a bazillion trees, and restore natural ecosystems. In conjunction with this, we paradoxically have to prepare for using a whole lot more trees, aka biomass, for energy, as that's what will be used primarily once fossil fuels are no longer used very much. Most of our energy we got from burning timber for fuel before we discovered coal and oil. 6. Create local networks to decide democratically and fairly how to divide up this small amount of energy we have left to deliver the best standard of living given local material availability and energy sources. 7. Everyone goes to a plant-based diet or very close to it. I'll be talking a lot more about plant-based diets and veganism in future videos. 8. Nuclear waste needs to be buried and dealt with now because people in the future won't have the energy to be able to deal with it. We can't be leaving the most dangerous form of waste that we know for future generations in some techno-utopia to be able to take care of. So, are we headed in the direction of these goals at the moment as a society? No, we're headed directly in the opposite direction for many of them. Fossil fuel use is increasing. Population is increasing, albeit more slowly than in the past. Personal consumption is increasing. Financial inequality and cost of living is increasing, although there are some UBI programs getting started. Deforestation is decreasing in some places, but increasing in others, and increasing overall. There is a trend toward globalized power structures instead of localized. Meat and dairy consumption is increasing. Nuclear power and nuclear waste are increasing as well. Many of these points require ginormous cultural change and need the opt-in by governments and big business all around the world. This is why I simply don't think it will happen. But as individuals and communities, we do have a lot of work set out for us, and we can make our own lives and the lives of those around us better while decreasing the harm our lifestyles cause to the global predicament. Many people and organisations are working towards things like a fair alternative economy, low-tech solutions, permaculture, that sort of thing, and they're important parts of the puzzle. Many actions are within reach for everyday individuals. On a day-to-day level, it turns out the solutions to many of the problems we see around us are actually pretty simple. Much of the time we already know about them, but we often aren't willing to make a change or able to. Sometimes we just forget to ask the question, what is the solution here? What are some simple actions that we could take that would make things better? There are things you can do to help. On an individual level, there are things that have a much larger impact than swapping out light bulbs or refusing plastic straws, even though they are great things to do. 1. Choose to have fewer children. In Australia, we each have huge individual footprints compared to the rest of the world. One less child for me decreases the impact on the environment by more than 5 times that of Jamaica, Panama or Cuba, and almost 10 times that of India, Peru or Morocco. Humans are not inherently bad or evil, and I don't have any desire to force people to have a certain number of children. But there are no environmental challenges that are made easier by having more people on the planet. And when we take care of women and we give them a choice as to how many children they usually have fewer children. We can take care of the environment better when we aren't so focused on just getting everybody sheltered and fed. We're overshooting the Earth's regenerative capacities, and having fewer people to take care of will make the energy descent easier. If the decision about the number of children you have is already made or has been made for you, there are plenty of other things you can do. 2. Decrease your intake of animal products. Plant-based is best for the environment. I have backyard chooks and they're a part of my tiny homestead's ecosystem. They were purchased before I went vegan. The overall impact and arguably my ethical stance would be improved if I hadn't purchased them. And it should be remembered that the dairy and egg industry are very closely tied to the meat industry, and by supporting one, we are supporting the other. Consider this if you choose to purchase or breed animals for human use. But at the end of the day, going vegan is a big thing you can do for the environment. 3. Walk or ride a bike as much as possible. The ecological, physical, societal, psychological and financial benefits of this are immense. You improve the environment, you improve your health, you cause far less wear and tear on the roads and pose less danger to other people. You save money. Plus, when you ride a bike, you can rest assured that you are morally superior to those driving 2 kilometres in their F-150s just to pick their kid up from school. 4. Don't fly, especially not overseas. One flight to Europe or the US is enough to displace They're not riding a bike or walking. One flight to Europe or the US is enough to displace any other carbon emission savings you may have made in a year of lifestyle changes. Travel via train or bus or even car is better than flying. Find something to do locally. It can be tricky because Australia is an island and we can't get to other countries without a flight or a really long trip on a boat. But I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could find something to do within your own country, state or even city. Alternatively, create a lifestyle that is so fulfilling and sustainable, perhaps you won't feel the need to travel so much in the first place. 6. Am I up to 6? I'm not sure. 5 or 6. Reduce your energy use. That's not just electricity use, but energy use. Anything that needs to be plugged in, has a motor, needs oil or petrol for fuel, needs to be shipped from the other side of the world, has a lot of different components. All of these things require a lot of energy. Change your activities from things that require energy input like travel or playing video games or shopping to lower energy input like gardening for your food or playing music on an acoustic instrument. So that's the big ticket individual items. On a community level, it's important to connect with others and discuss these issues. 1 hour spent talking with a neighbour about how you can work together to improve your community is time better spent than 1 hour online comparing different greenwashed eco products. The former can have a ripple effect throughout society if enough of us do it. It is a less tangible solution initially, but the effect is tangible and is core to building the alternative society. Get to know your neighbours, check in on them, see if they're okay, ask them what they're worried about, what ideas they have for improving the community. See what resources they might have that might benefit any projects you're working on. Find out what they need and see if you can help them reach a goal they have. We are a social species. We cannot live in a silo. We rely on others, and that's the way it should be. What if you were the solution to somebody's problem? What if you, your unique combination of talents, skills and experience were the much needed piece of the puzzle to help solve a problem for someone in your community? Get out there and connect. Increasing your self-reliance is good, but you can only get so far trying to make a difference by yourself in your own home. I'm interested in the balance between these concepts of self-reliance and community reliance, and I'm keen to have a video up soon exploring that topic. I'll also have a video on actions you can take specifically to prepare for a low energy future and low tech lifestyle. Once they're published, they'll be linked in the description. I appreciate you for watching. If you want to deepen your understanding of our current predicament, watch this video here. Be safe and well, and I'll see you next time.